Welcome back to the number one podcast in the world group chat. We have an action-packed episode today. First, we talk about Wall Street. I don't know what's going on in the stock market.
Everyone's poor.
Everyone's poor. And Even Spiegel is helping you get poorer.
If you have less money today than you did yesterday, it's because of Evan Spiegel.
Talk to your boy. We also get into China lockdowns and some shocking statistics that women are still paid 83 cents for every dollar men earn. And of course, we had to briefly touch on the wedding of the year happening in Italy. And someone stole our logo, our name, and is doing a conference around it.
And we want to check.
So we're going to get into that. Well, let's get into it.
Cash.
Ladies and gentlemen, group chat.
Cash.
It's $1 trillion. Hot.
All right, everyone, we are back. More bad news.
And you still have long COVID.
I have long COVID, but I got my inhaler back. I lost it for a few days. It reemerged, so that helps.
And COVID's hot again. Everyone's getting it.
I don't know anybody.
Really?
No. You don't test, you don't find out.
That's also true.
I've been coughing and sneezing for a week. But I got it in January. I couldn't have already gotten it.
What's that?
I had it in January.
Yeah, it'd be pretty tough.
I'm probably good for like 7 to 9 months.
You'll get it in September.
That's fine. It's football season. There's nothing more than I would love a nice 1 week, like from Friday to Sunday, 8-9 days of just sitting at home watching football.
Yeah, as long as, you don't...
Die?
Yeah. There's always that risk.
Yeah. There's a lot of risk. Did you see how many people die on motorcycles every year? It's pretty crazy. The number one cause of death from transportation mode is motorcycle. And then the next, like the plane is like sixth.
Yeah. No, I mean, any emergency room doctor will tell you like riding a motorcycle might be the dumbest thing you can do.
Smoking cigarettes and motorcycles.
Because riding a motorcycle, it's not like you get a fender bender.
Yeah.
If you get hit, you're getting maimed.
Yeah. What about those people that ride motorcycles while they smoke cigarettes?
What also is underrated how dangerous it is cycling.
Cycling, there's been recently in LA a couple deaths.
Yeah. One a year in Malibu, I hear, guaranteed someone dies on PCH.
Yeah. I mean, I saw actually our friend Jamie, who listens to the pod, cycling on Mulholland.
And he almost got shot.
Yeah, he almost got shot and he's cycling. Have a cigarette while you're at it, Jamie.
He's British. He's a bloke.
Yeah.
Isn't that what they do?
Yeah. Blokes like to smoke cigs. Well, if that won't kill you, the stock market might. What I don't understand about the stock market at this point is it is very clear that any consumer-facing business is struggling.
Yep.
But then every time an earnings come out, huge surprise, stock just gets slaughtered. So Snapchat came out and released their earnings yesterday.
No, they didn't even release earnings. This fucker torpedoed the market, Evan Spiegel.
We just sent a warning.
So he preemptively said, hey, the quarter's going to be a disaster. The market turned south way faster than we expected. Business is in the toilet. And he just came out and gave this warning. Yeah. And I was asking our friend Michael Katz, like, is there an SEC requirement for him to come out and give this warning? He said no. So he tanked the market today.
Felt guilty.
He's single-handedly the reason why the market got completely creamed, at least today. So Snapchat, as we're recording, is down over 40%.
Which is crazy because in April, he came out and said, this is what we believe guidance to be. And it was soft. And then now he's saying it's worse. So was he just honest Abe?
Yeah, I mean,
the Abe Lincoln of...
Wait till earnings. Go get whacked at earnings. Leave us alone.
Yeah, I mean, he torpedoed Facebook, Meta.
Pinterest.
I mean, not Meta, Pinterest.
Yep.
Generally anything...
I mean, he is the reason why the Nasdaq's down. You know, he erased hundreds of billions of dollars of net worth.
Yeah. Hundreds of billions. One guy.
One guy.
We were celebrating him last week.
Yeah.
Local hero. Local villain now.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what the thought process is when the market's already getting crushed. Like, it must be really bad if he's coming out and saying that.
I think it is really bad.
Like, it's not just a miss. It's like a complete, like, that means advertisers just turned off spending in Snapchat.
No, they turned it off everywhere.
Right.
So from what my friends who are big advertisers have either all drastically decreased. I know some pretty large ones that have completely paused Facebook spend to zero.
Who are the big advertisers on Snap? Like the D2C brands aren't on there, right?
Yeah, they are.
They are?
Yeah.
So, I mean, this is like what we've been talking about. We've been saying this for months. There's no way the consumer is strong. The consumer is not spending. With gas prices through the roof, interest rates going up, stock market getting decimated, there's no single possible way you can have more money today than you did in January.
No.
Unless you're an athlete and you signed a big contract.
Yeah. And I think the
guys in the NBA playoffs have more money because they get paid per playoff game on top of their salary.
So they're doing fine.
They're doing great.
I think the other thing is that people haven't, stock market, like we always says, it's a leading indicator. So this is to believe that, the coming quarter and the coming quarters are going to be soft. So the thing that I think I struggle with, and I keep saying this every episode, is I do not see any catalyst on Russia, Ukraine. We know it's just going to drag on. What is the catalyst to bring down oil prices? So here's the thing. I think the catalyst to bring the stock market back is the Fed saying we're done raising interest rates.
Yep.
That does not bring the economy back.
Yeah, I think there's one thing to really note. What we've learned abundantly clear in the last 2.5 years is the stock market and the economy have nothing to do with one another.
They're two different guys.
Two different guys. It's apples and oranges.
Yeah.
When the stock market was ripping in 2020, 2021, the economy for the most part was in shambles.
Yeah.
Like restaurants were closed, stores were closed, hotels were closed. Like you couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
And the stock market ripped. The stock market has been completely decimated in the last 5 months. And the economy is just realizing how bad it is. And consumers are finally feeling the pinch. Like even the travel stocks were all down today. So they must be signaling like we've already peaked travel in terms of like this
they're probably
rush.
Forward looking, right? I'm sure summer travel is booked. It's done. Like most people have made their plans, and a lot of people made these plans months ago, 6 months ago.
Yeah, so it might be paid already.
So I think they're looking at the fall, end of year type holiday bookings, and I'm guessing it's soft. I can't imagine anything consumer facing in the world is doing well right now. I just don't believe anything is doing well consumer facing.
Yeah, and it's also interesting because the way it's talked about on all the financial shows, like there's no original thought. So 5-6 months ago, people were calling, like a lot of smart people who ended up being right, that, hey, the S&P 500 is going to touch 3,800. It touched 3,800 yesterday.
Yeah.
And didn't break it, but it touched it.
Yeah.
That was unimaginable in December.
Mm-hmm.
And now you turn on CNBC or Bloomberg and the world is ending. So one thing to know is those people have no idea what's going on.
Nobody knows what's going on.
And now I saw a guy calling for a Great Depression.
Yeah. Who's he calling?
He's calling. That's his call.
Oh, that's his call.
That's his call. And he's saying that, we have a chance, which I don't think is possible because the Fed will just stop and we'll print money. If we're not getting into a depression.
Yeah. I think I would say the things that worry me are, one, this administration's focus is not the economy.
It's not the economy. And I get, look, he ran on this like kind of, I'm standing up for the average American, not the rich guy. Fine. Who cares about the growth tech stocks? But now everyone's 401k is getting crushed. So now you're actually seeing data that people are unretiring.
Yeah, there was a spike in unretirements.
Yes.
Can you imagine you work for like 50 years just grinding it out, and then this happens and you're like, Betsy, we're going back to work.
Right. And you can complain about rich people all you want and tech founders and Elon and Bezos, but what's going on in the stock market's affecting average people.
Well, I'll take it even a step back. What's going on in oil prices is affecting average people the most.
Sure.
And the fact that gas has not come down 1 fucking cent in months now is such a huge problem. That's just money getting evaporated from the economy.
Yep.
And I don't care. I just don't believe they're doing everything in their power to lower those prices. Go to ExxonMobil, go to all the refineries. Refineries are making money hand over fist.
Yeah,
just ask for a
go to the
reprieve.
Middle East, kiss the ring and get more oil.
Go to Saudi Arabia and say, we need help.
Yeah. I mean, we're not in the oil industry, but similar to the ports industry, because we do understand supply chain, that was solvable. They didn't solve it. This, in theory, should be solvable with money.
Yeah.
Everything is solvable with money in terms of like getting things back to normal. Go buy oil. Go subsidize oil. The government should be subsidizing gas prices.
Yeah.
That's
the
a good
easiest way
Yeah.
to get out of this recession fast.
Yeah.
Because if there's not if these are the gas prices for the rest of the year, I mean, kiss Christmas goodbye.
Christmas got kissed goodbye last year because nothing came.
Yeah.
No goods can arrive. Now Christmas is going to be over because everyone's...
Yeah, hottest... I'll give you the hottest gift for Christmas, a gas card.
Yeah.
That's going to be the hottest gift this year. What does your 16-year-old want? Gas.
Yeah, this seems solvable, and it doesn't seem like anyone... Like the stock market, sure, a lot of rich people benefit, but a lot of average people are relying on this.
Yeah.
In their 401ks. So like, this isn't just a rich person problem. Oh, tech stocks are down. It's like, now everything's down.
Yeah, and I think the real problem is that like we're not seeing the Fed's goal. The Federal Reserve is going to just keep raising interest rate till consumer demand falls off a cliff. That is their strategy. We raise interest rates, credit card rates go up, mortgage rates go up, people start buying houses. Like their goal is like crush the economy at all cost. That is their goal because they feel that will stop inflation. I mean, all of these people are still going out there saying that the economy is strong.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's other people saying there's a depression.
Yeah, the Fed has publicly said we need near-term pain to bring down inflation. The Fed also should have been doing this last year. Everyone was calling for that inflation was coming in last fall. So it's the Fed's fault. Yeah. There's like some crazy statistic, I don't know it off the top of my head, that like the Fed has poorly navigated every time there's been inflation and led us intentionally into a recession. Like they've never let us out of this. So I think it's pretty clear with if we had soft earnings from Walmart, Amazon, Target. Snap is obviously saying small businesses and big brands aren't spending anymore.
Abercrombie just announced an unexpected loss for the first quarter, and they're saying it's freight and product costs weighing in on sales. They see revenues to be flat to be up 2%, which still is not bad. So for them, it's clearly cost that is the real problem. So you can't control the cost of manufacturing goods. You can't control supply chain, shipping, freight, all those issues. The only thing you can control is your overhead. So what do? You're not closing stores right now.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, you're hacking people.
Yeah, and I think, the zero COVID policy in China is the only near term, besides the Fed coming out and saying something not hawkish, is the only near term thing I think could really shake things up. And at least it'll help the stock market. But I got to imagine, even if China tomorrow says, okay, we're open back up, it's not that quick that supply chain gets ramped up, right?
Yeah.
There's got to be a ramp up time. I don't know how long that is. So then in China right now, the CEO of Trip.com, which is a huge travel site in China, came out against the zero COVID policy. So did one of the Tencent founders. They have been banned from social media.
Yeah.
What are the odds they're in jail?
Lock them up.
So one of them
Keep
penned
your
like
mouth shut.
an opinion paper saying this is stupid, effectively. Like, obviously, if you run a travel site and the country's locked up,
Yeah.
you can't do any business.
I was talking to a friend of mine who lives in Guangzhou, who was traveling. He's in Europe. He randomly called me, and I was like, "How is it over there?" He's like, "It's way worse than you could ever imagine. It's substantially worse than you can imagine."
the lockups or the lockdowns.
He's like, "China's not the same when you went." He's like, "You would go to the hotel. They live in one of the big cities, at like one of those condos at a big hotel, fancy hotel." And I used to stay with them. And he'd be like, you'd go to the front desk and there would be American or European, just like all different people working. He's like, there's absolutely no foreign workers anywhere. Zero. He's like, we're like the last of the Mohicans and among like their little cohort of friends. And he said that it's clear that it's just a play for the government to control the people. It has nothing to do with COVID. Everyone knows it has nothing to do with COVID, but they know what the plan is here. He's like, it's bad. And he's like, I just hope it's just a controlled thing and they're not plotting to do something crazier.
Yeah, the crazier things would be like, what are they going to do with Taiwan? That's like the elephant in the room that everyone's terrified of.
And he's like, I think what they're trying to say, he's like, when you live in China, what they are telling their people is that we are protecting you. The rest of the world is falling apart because of COVID. We are protecting you. We're keeping you safe. We're keeping you fed. And so what they're trying to instill is some sort of nationalism that like we're the only country protecting our people and everyone else is out to lunch.
See, that would have worked 30 years ago before social media, right? 20 years ago even. But the average Chinese citizen knows what's going on in the rest of the world. There's
Maybe they
VPNs.
don't. How do you know?
I mean, your buddy's...
He can go in and out.
But he has to, when he goes back, he's going to get locked up for 28 days?
Yeah.
And he's okay with it.
He knows. He works there.
So if you have some of these CEOs as recently as this last week coming out and saying this, you got to imagine it's bubbling. They know they're going to get sidelined, deplatformed, all of that stuff. So there must be a buzz amongst their employees. They're like kind of, the people they're dealing with, everyone's sick of it. I can't imagine if you're in Beijing or Shanghai, you think this is a reasonable approach in 2022.
I think you think it's great.
So Beijing, apparently Xi sent one of his premiers to Shanghai to basically like give the full lockdown, like because of the zero COVID policy. And then now Beijing, which is still under restrictions, not fully locked down the way Shanghai is, he showed up there. So now everyone in Beijing is terrified they're going to have the same issues. But I mean, if you lock down Shanghai and Beijing, like just two biggest cities in the world, right?
Yeah, but they got a lot of big cities over there.
Yeah, they have 100 cities with over 1 million people minimum.
Yeah, they're fine.
But they're just like rounding up a neighborhood of like 5,000 people and putting them away.
The other thing is Chinese economy does not need, they're not as reliant as the rest of the world. There's enough of a domestic economy. And so that's part of like the nationalism kind of objective here is like, we don't need anyone else. The world needs us. We don't need them.
That's clearly like, I just got to imagine it backfires because of the access to information.
What access?
Anyone in China can get a VPN and figure out what's going on in the world.
They're blocking that shit too.
I mean, there's some journalists that Amanda's sent me posts from in China, like just mocking how ridiculous some of this stuff is. And like one of them was a guy in a hazmat suit and an empty tarmac. There's not a single person around him, and he's just spraying the air.
Yeah, they're good at signaling. That's interesting. Well, I mean, the other thing that it's not on our list, but that's the big hot topic, monkeypox.
Yeah, monkeypox is here.
Monkeypox has arrived in America with 2 cases.
In New York, right?
Yeah, and Canada's confirmed 5. Belgium just introduced a mandatory 21-day quarantine for monkeypox patients.
Oh, if you have it.
Yeah.
Okay.
The most, currently, the only way that people are getting it is through sex. And so that is the big joke on Twitter is, oh, if you're into crypto, you don't have to worry about monkeypox because you're not having sex. I mean, everyone's like, if you're into NFTs, you're not having sex. So, I think specifically young people, you guys don't have to worry about monkeypox. You're not having sex anyways. But looks like it is the World Health Organization came out and said in America and Europe, it's primarily spreading through sex among men.
Okay.
So that's the first kind of inclination. I think that was a very dangerous thing to say by the World Health Organization.
Yeah, I think so too. Without definitive, you better have definitive evidence. That's right.
Yeah, because it just may have infected a gay man first.
Yeah.
And now you're going to make it feel, you're going to create this stigma that it is a disease of.
I mean, this is what happened with
HIV.
We've lived this.
Yeah. And they just, this organization just came out and said that.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking nuts.
Insane.
And because it said primarily, it's not all cases.
Right. But
just stupid.
It's very stupid.
What is this World Health Organization? Who are these people? Who?
The WHO?
Yeah.
The WHO hasn't navigated us through much.
They're a bunch of idiots over there.
Yes.
Complete idiots. All right. Well, we'll move on. Layoffs, hot topic. Klarna, like this massive $40 billion buy now, pay later company, is laying off 10% of its workforce.
Seems light.
But go back to your Jack Welch saying.
Yeah, the Jack Welch saying is you can basically eliminate 5 to 10% of any organization and not lose productivity.
So I think Klarna is like, let's just do the 10 and then really sit and do the work. Because here's the thing is, you also have to do the work on who to eliminate.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just, and my guess is more to come.
I would guess so. So they just closed their funding, right? Last week. I'm sure they're being told.
That was probably part of the provision of the funding. Like, you got to cut expenses. So there's a list going around of all the people who got laid off. Pretty good people.
Really?
Yeah.
And they're based in
Sweden.
You're right.
But they have a big office in New York.
Yeah, I mean,
Fintech's going to have a hard time.
All of tech, private tech, is going to get taken to the woodshed. Layoffs, down rounds, all of it.
I think the other thing you'll also see is that, and this happens in every boom bust kind of cycle, is a lot of businesses diversified their revenue streams. And in most cases, most businesses are good at one thing. They're great at one thing. And then they have success and they start trying other things. And that is usually where you get bloated cost structures and lack of focus. And I'm assuming Klarna, being the size they are, was in so many peripheral businesses that I'm sure they're like, why are we doing this stuff now? But curious to see how that affects other companies, because I've seen like their vision of like what they want to become. It's far beyond buy now, pay later. So I'm wondering, are investors telling them like, focus, be the king of this space. Don't worry about all these other ideas that you potentially have.
Yeah, the market, both the private and public markets, is saying, do whatever you do well, do a lot of it, and make sure you make money.
Yeah.
And if you do that, you'll get rewarded.
Yeah.
Even you hear all the earnings calls. Last year, if you listen to any of these growth companies, it was about expansion. It was about, we can expand into all these different industries, geographies, depending on what type of business you are. Now, if you listen to every CEO, they're just like, we're focused on expanding gross profit.
Yeah. And I think the other thing, so Airbnb also announced they're closing their domestic business in China. It accounts approximately for 1% of their revenue the last few years. So it's not like substantial. But I do think like they had launched this business in 2016. There's a lot of domestic competition. I do, like you saw Starbucks sell off their entire Russia business.
They were forced to, right? And McDonald's sold off to a license or franchisor.
But there is, and not to sound like dramatic, but there is a sense of like deglobalization for some of these businesses in certain countries to just walk away from it. Like, do you really want to deal with the headache of doing business in these countries? Do you want to deal with the social implications of doing business with Russia or China? Like, you're going to have to make that, like Nike can't walk away from their China business.
No.
So they're going to stand with Xi.
Well, they have to. And same with the NBA.
And Apple.
Yeah, Apple too. But the thing with Airbnb, which Uber learned the hard way, in a market like China, it's so hard to make money at scale when you have so much local competition that's just subsidizing everything.
Yeah.
But
that's my point. All of these like incredible American companies, right? How many of them have had real success outside of America?
In food, so like in China, the Yum brands, they all crush.
Okay, KFC. But you're talking, that's like over 30 years, probably the first KFC came.
Probably.
Think about any modern business.
I think, so there's two different things, right? An American brand like Nike has global appeal that a Chinese brand, no matter who it is, you don't have Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
Right? So there's going to be demand in China no matter what. Airbnb is a marketplace for listings, for where you stay.
Yeah.
Anyone can create that in China. Yeah. And for something like that specifically, you probably have to tailor it domestically that Airbnb just doesn't have the expertise.
Same with Uber, right? Because there's nuances to travel in those countries.
And like we know, like there's unlimited capital for, like China wants Chinese winners to win.
Yeah. And
I'm sure Didi was getting funded by like government-backed funds to make sure Uber doesn't win.
Yeah.
And just drive Uber into oblivion, which they pretty much did, even though they own 25% of the company now. But still, they wanted to make it as unprofitable as possible.
Yeah.
And I'm sure Airbnb saw the writing on the wall and they're like, why are we even focused on it?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's like...
It's easier for Airbnb to get that Chinese traveler into Thailand because there probably isn't local competition at scale.
Yeah. But I also think, to that point, like a lot of companies go out with this idea that they're going to conquer the world. And if you really look at what are American businesses that have conquered the world, like, for example, I would argue, Facebook and Google are two of the most important businesses of the last 25, 30 years. And they're not allowed in China.
Yeah, I think that's the point. Like, you need IP. Yeah. Like Nike's invaluable IP. Yeah. Disney is invaluable IP.
Starbucks.
You can win if you have this IP that everyone just wants. But if it's just a service, I don't think China is the place for you.
Yeah.
I mean, we talk about Shein. They don't even sell in China.
Yeah.
It's too much competition.
Yeah.
It's a Chinese company.
That's insane. Like they basically have overrun every other fast fashion company.
They punted on the biggest market in the world.
Yeah. Very interesting. So the big news, Elon Musk, and we talked about this on Sunday. Elon Musk is officially the most polarizing figure in America. Even Naval came out and said Elon Musk represents the center right.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't think anyone views Elon as like center.
I think to me, center right.
I think he's center right.
Just because he will allow Donald Trump?
No, not because of that. Not because deplatforming. But I think here's what I think is dangerous: is he has so much power over the youth that him coming out and saying like the Democratic Party's full of hate. So is the Republican Party. Go to any Republican opinionist.
Yeah.
It's just complete hate on the left.
It's just that Democratic Party is going after him.
Sure. And if you really like think about it, all his whole tweet storm on politics, just all it really said is I hate Democrats.
Yeah.
He didn't say I love he didn't. You can make the exact same case about the far left as you can. The far right's way worse because it's incendiary. Like it's wanting harm to people. It's wanting to block people out of society. And dude, abortion's massive. Like this is real.
Yeah.
Like if Republicans have their way, like it's going to affect poor people in states.
Yeah. And so if you knowing that the Democrats are playing this all wrong. One, you should get Elon Musk on your side. Right? Like, why not go sit down with him and invite him to the White House? And
I think the White House should be inviting everyone.
Okay, well, Elon Musk being the figure of the moment, why stray away from him? Because Elon Musk is not Kanye West. You know, it's not a spectacle.
I can't believe Trump even had Kanye over.
Okay, that's my point. Is that like, why not have Elon Musk come to the Joe Biden White House? He has American businesses spend time with him, and you're right. In the reason why is if Elon Musk is perceived center right, then you know what? Most of America will be center right in the future. That is where the country is heading. They're not hitting center left. And then that means all the social things that people want to upheld in this country are out the fucking window.
Yeah.
You're thinking strategically, you get him on your side then.
Yeah, no,
Don't fight him.
Yeah, he's too powerful. And I think he's kind of drunk with his own power at this point. He knows he can say anything.
Yeah.
He proved it.
He's Kanye.
Yeah. And he's a smart one, though. Smart version of Kanye. He's not as unhinged.
Yeah.
And that's where I think the danger is, like the whole simulation shit that he thinks he's in a simulation. He's just pulling levers.
Games, yeah.
It's affecting average people.
Yeah. Well, the thing is then he's not going to get less powerful.
No.
Everyone is trying to take down Tesla. There's allegation on the sexual misconduct that happened 12 years ago.
People are coming for him. He put a target on his head.
Yeah.
Whether it matters or not, I don't know. But he probably has to really fuck up for it to matter. Like he'd have to do something criminal.
Yeah. Which no financial crime is going to happen.
No, because he can get away with that. Anyone can.
No one's going to bother him there. I mean, it'd have to be like physical, a physical crime.
Yeah.
Like he has to take his Tesla and run over somebody.
Well, Trump said, I could shoot someone on Fifth Avenue and wouldn't lose an ounce of support.
And guess what?
He didn't actually shoot anyone.
But yeah, look, I think Elon Musk is such an interesting figure because I'm really, really curious to see how this shakes out because here's the conversation we hear with everybody. I'm on the phone with people all day, every day. And they all say the same exact thing. Man, the Democrats are going to get mopped in November.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all liberal people. Every single Democrat we know is saying they're about to get mopped in November.
Yep.
If you know that, what the fuck are you doing?
Nothing.
They're doing nothing.
Nothing.
If you actually cared about Roe v. Wade, you'd have Elon Musk on your side.
Right.
You don't. You don't care about climate change because you don't have Elon Musk on your side. You don't care about shit. You just care about attention.
Virtue signaling. That's the problem with Democrats.
Yeah.
They just virtue signal.
If you're so concerned about these mega policy changes potentially happening, laws changing, dude.
It's just a lack of leadership, to be honest. Like that's the problem with Democrats right now.
Yeah.
We're not hearing anything from the administration on the economy.
No.
And
nothing.
we know the average consumer is getting crushed. And
what do you think? You think anything else is going to matter in November except the economy and inflation? Zero fucking things are going to matter.
Yeah. And there's going to be a lot of consequences because of it.
Exactly. It's so stupid. It's like, you want to win in November, you better fix the economy fast. Fix inflation. Figure it out. You have levers to pull. You need to get smarter people behind you. At least change the narrative that you're trying at least.
Mm-hmm. Like the administration should have Jeff Bezos at the White House. Talk to us about logistics and how do we hire people.
And Elon. Get Elon on your side.
Yeah.
I don't think fighting Elon Musk is good for politics.
No, I don't think so either. But I also think I don't know what he's gonna do. He's also a loose cannon.
He is a loose cannon, but he's a loose cannon in the moment.
He's the loose cannon with a huge popularity.
That's and a huge war chest himself.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how like so many people hate him now.
What's going on with the Twitter purchase? It's been kind of quiet the last few days.
I mean, he should reprice.
Yeah,
I don't think he's allowed to. I think he has to prove that they have these bots to get them to. I'm sure there's like a clause that you have to share truthful information, and
he'll just fight it.
I mean, he should walk away, pay the $1 billion, and call it a day. Twitter's worth half.
Well, the market's pricing it as if the acquisition's not going to happen.
Yeah.
So you think it gets whacked again?
It should. It should be It should have been whacked today.
Mm-hmm.
Who's advertising on Twitter?
No one.
0 people.
Twitter's like just so. It's almost like
it's
Wikipedia.
NPR.
It's Wikipedia.
NPR.
Like you don't need to make money. Just exist.
Yeah, that's my point. It's not a good business.
No, it's a terrible business.
But there are like some of the
but
things
with immense power.
But Elon's point to what Twitter should be, and in the podcast he did, was why isn't Twitter like WeChat? Why isn't it as powerful of a tool? That's a great point. Why isn't it?
I agree. Bad leadership there. Bad innovation.
Elon Musk is fighting against bad leadership. He's going to win. Every which way, he's fighting bad leadership.
Yeah,
if people are poor, everything's out the window. That's just the way the world works.
You mean in terms of like social causes and issues?
Yeah. All the progress that people made over the last few years gets thrown out the window. If in November, if you do not have gas prices lower.
Yeah, the economy is the only thing that's going to matter. So the Republicans have also gerrymandered the House, so they're going to win the House no matter what.
Yeah.
And you add this on top of it.
Yeah.
It'll be a bloodbath.
Yeah. Like, what is the crying call for Democrats outside of the Roe v. Wade situation? There isn't.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. Speaking of women, a new study came out that said women are still paid 83 cents for every dollar men earn. Very interesting.
I can't believe this is still going on.
It's pretty crazy. It used to be 61% in 1960. And partly what the study says is lower pay contributes to lower lifetime earnings. That women aren't working as long, or maybe they start later in the workforce, or maybe I don't understand that statement, but I just don't understand.
So there's a bunch of different distinctions they make is like job type, but even if you exclude job type, even in female dominated jobs, they're paid less than men.
That's crazy.
So you can take out like, oh, they're in different service industries and whatnot at aggregate, but I think the right way to think about it is you pick the same industry and men and women in the same exact type of job, and they're still being paid less.
Women of color are at an even greater disadvantage. Black women are paid 64%, and Hispanic women 57% of what white non-Hispanic men were paid in 2020. That is bananas.
It is bananas. I mean, I know how I've worked in finance, so in investment banking, it's a clear boys club. There's no question about it. If you are a man in investment banking or Wall Street or finance or in the hedge fund or venture, you make significantly more than women. So those biases exist at the highest earners, that they're still, I saw it clear as day. That was 20 years ago. I don't think much has changed.
What's even crazier here, there's also age discrimination. So women in 2019, women under the age of 30 were paid 93% of men's wages nationally. So closer the gap. But it's 82% for all women. So that just shows you that, like, even the age for women causes such a significant drop in comp.
Yeah, I mean, just look at any like private equity firm, hedge fund. Go on their website, look at the team.
Yeah. They always look the same.
Yeah. That's, you could take, I mean, you can include race in that too, but it's a carbon copy in most of these like massive funds. And these are the highest earners. That's how you create wealth.
Yeah. And I think this is a prime example of like where we can be focusing our energy as a country instead of fighting all the time. If women earned more money, they would spend more money and we would put more money back into the economy. It's like basic thought processes
Yeah,
here.
and this is also amidst the backdrop of like women are having kids later in life. So they're more focused on careers. So like the external factors seem like the gap should be massively closed.
Yeah.
Because more women are focused on their careers. More women are either choosing not to have children or delaying having children because they're focused on their career. So you would think this should be like dramatically closing, but it's not.
What about this idea of just every company has to share how much everyone makes? Is that just going to cause chaos?
Yeah, it'll cause chaos, but that's probably, you need something drastic like that for things to change. You need someone to leak it, like a hacker just go to Facebook's like payroll and leak it.
Yeah,
white out all the names.
Yeah, and just say
male,
female,
male, female,
yeah.
what their position
Same
is.
position, how much they make. Because I don't know how else do you fix this problem?
And the thing with the tech companies specifically, like they log all the data too. All their performance reviews, so you can really see if two people get the same performance.
Yeah,
review.
like small business, nobody knows. I don't know how much Mary makes. I don't know how much Joe makes. I have no idea who's making what.
The big tech companies are logging every single piece of data about every employee, so you can really get to the bottom of it quickly.
Yeah, I'm really curious. In what industries are you seeing the biggest pay gap?
I would only reason because I have enough friends and was part of it is Wall Street.
It's visibly different.
Yes. I mean, just think about how many managing directors are there that are women. They're the highest paid employees.
Yeah.
It's probably like out of every 10, maybe 1 to 2.
Yeah. And what percentage of investment banking do you think is women though?
Small. I don't know. At the analyst level, it wasn't 50-50, but it wasn't like 10-90.
Yeah.
At the junior level, which is what I did, it's probably like 35%, 40%.
And what's crazy is there's no like, at this point, like, are there like, what is the thought process that doesn't make everyone equal? I don't even get it.
I think a lot of these, of these industries, unfortunately, they want to have locker room talk. And they're afraid to like get caught.
Of the boys club.
Yes.
If that's what it is, that's ridiculous.
I don't know. I mean, it's humans that are hiring.
Yeah.
Right? There's got to be a reason.
I wonder if robots were hiring, who would they hire?
Probably women.
Yeah.
It says like the data is clear. There's enrollment in college, more women than men.
Wow.
So they're higher educated.
Yeah. I mean, growing up, all of the smart kids at our school were women.
Yeah.
I don't think I'm trying to think of who are the smartest kids in school.
We had a mix.
I think our top of our class.
I know who the top of yours. It was definitely a girl.
Yeah. Yeah. Super interesting. I couldn't believe it's 83 cents.
Yeah. Got to do better.
Here's an interesting thing. So Travis Scott was kind of persona non grata everywhere. Like, you didn't see, he wasn't doing his collabs, his drops.
Was he at the wedding? The Kourtney Kardashian wedding?
I don't think he was at the
I didn't see him.
Was Kylie there?
Kylie was definitely there.
Okay.
Even Devin Booker went with Kendall.
Well, the reason why Travis Scott wasn't there, he was too busy dropping his Nike Travis Scott Air Trainer 1 collab that apparently got 1 million entries.
Jesus.
And I mean, I went on the site when it launched. Everything sold out instantly. Nike does an incredible job of finding these people that are like ostracized in society and just kind of saying, we'll just do it anyways.
Like who else?
I mean, Tiger Woods,
Right.
Kobe,
Yeah.
Colin Kaepernick.
Well, you're saying that they may have some controversy, but they just don't care.
They don't care. Which other businesses, because I would talk to other businesses about Travis and they were like, oh, we're really not trying to do anything with him right now. And I'm like, he's kind of like the most popular dude still. Like, I understand what happened, but that's reality. He's still very, very popular.
What's his excuse for not being at the wedding?
Nike collab.
Are they together? I have no idea. You never know with them.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they're together right now. You know what? They were at the Billboard Awards.
Which was last week, right?
Yeah. Kanye was at the Balenciaga show.
Yeah, with Offset and Anna Wintour.
Yeah. I'm assuming he was not invited.
There's no way he was invited.
Some people said he was.
Why would they invite him?
It's a good look.
You think it's just purely for media purposes?
I would invite him. If I was Kourtney Kardashian. There's more people paying attention to my wedding.
Yeah, I guess that's their whole goal as a family.
Yeah. You kind of got to have Kanye and Travis there.
I hadn't even heard of that. I mean, that hotel must be ridiculous.
Is it Belmont? Rich. I saw the rates for next week, how much they were.
$3,000.
6,700.
6,700 for a standard room?
A regular ass room was 6,700.
How many nannies, hairstylists, makeup artists?
They weren't staying at that hotel. They were across the street.
Sure, but how many do you think they flew in?
Dude, it must have been 100 people.
Because everyone had kids, except for, I guess, Kendall.
But everyone needs their hair person.
Mhm.
Everyone needs their makeup person. I would love to see like the full extended family tree of the Kardashian Jenner. Like all of the peripheral people. Like who, Scott Disick obviously was not invited, right?
You never know. You said Kanye was invited.
But she didn't date Kanye.
That's true.
Yeah, where was the Lord? Was the Lord not there?
I don't think so.
But either way, it's good to see Travis Scott kind of just back in the mix. Curious to see how fans kind of embrace him.
Clearly has no effect.
Yeah. This is the thing that because the same thing with the Elon Musk thing, not to bring that back up again, but I was just yesterday counted how many Teslas there were from the office to my house, just 2 miles. It was like 85.
Yeah, everyone has
in
a Tesla.
2 miles. I think I counted 80 plus Teslas. I drove by like the Grove charger area. I mean, it was just like 30 of them just sitting there. I think consumer behavior is not truly affected by things that people think they do. Like, when people were like, I'm boycotting X. You're not.
No,
You're
no
not
one's boycotting anything.
Stop saying you're boycotting anything. I saw people are quitting Twitter still because of Elon Musk. Like yesterday, someone quit. It's a random person just posted that I follow. I'm no longer going to be a part of this authoritarian government or whatever. I'm like, he doesn't own it yet. Why don't you at least wait till he owns it, then quit? Enjoy it.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Last but not least, apparently the world's first SMS e-conference is coming, which I don't even know what an e-conference is. And Postscript, the company, is hosting it. It's called Group Chat, and they use our fucking logo.
Exact same colors.
Exact same colors.
We should sue their ass.
Yeah. What's that about? Postscript?
Yeah, what is Postscript?
It's probably an SMS service.
Postscript is a powerful SMS platform for Shopify stores.
So it's attentive.
send campaigns, automations, and drive sales with
Well,
text,
we
gifts, and
are
more.
team attentive.
Well, they need to write us a check. Want to use our logo?
Yeah. And don't even invite us.
Yeah, at least pay for us to speak or something.
Give us $100K and we will make this problem go away.
100K, yep. I'll do it for 100.
Anyways, so I hope none of you go to this conference because you will all be considered traitors.
Yes.
Anyone who posts a picture from Postscript, we're banning your IP from listening to this podcast.
I like it.
The other interesting thing is I was talking about our warehouse experience of like potentially finding a new space and negotiating a new lease. So many Kathys that are in the LA warehouse universe reached out and are helping me.
No,
Fucking
it's great.
awesome.
It's great.
It's amazing. So very thankful for that. And you forget how good the network is on the Kathy network. All right. That's all we have. Anything else?
I think that's it.
All right, everybody. We will see you back here on Thursday. We were supposed to have a special guest today, but unfortunately got rescheduled. So we'll keep you informed. Bye-bye.
Peace.